morning from a very chilly greenhouse. Isn't it cold? I don't like it. I've got my big sweater on. Now, you're probably starting to understand why we did the sowing when we did in the early autumn, because the plants have come to a halt now. Hopefully you've noticed they're not growing at all. It's not only the light levels, it's also the light intensity, because the sun is at an angle in deepest winter, and we've got a way to go yet. It's the 21st of December is the winter solstice, which is when we hit rock bottom as far as light is concerned. Everything that we've sown so far, here are my cornflowers doing really well, still in their 40-cell trays, and they've come to a standstill, so I'm not going to bother worrying about potting them on for the time being. I might do it around Christmas time. It depends what the weather does, and if it warms up, then I might then pot them on into their 15 cells, but we'll wait and see. But please don't sow anything else. Plants like those cornflowers are much better at coping with the cold, dark days of winter, but tiny seedlings can get something called damping off really easily at this time of the year. And just because you can germinate things on heat mats or in your warm sitting room does not mean you should. The shock of bringing them out to the cold greenhouse after germination will most likely kill them. So if you haven't started your seeds yet, hold your horses. Now, we're going to have to wait. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer than after the winter solstice, because lovely light levels that we had in early autumn in September time, those light levels are actually not going to return until March. So what we'll do is we'll sow in February, around middle of February, but you need to keep an eye on the weather, because if it's really, really cold, it'll be a challenge to look after the seedlings. So I'm going to be doing it with you, so we can just watch the weather together. But let's just argue for the moment that we'll be sowing them in mid-February. Then by the time they germinate and start to need to photosynthesize, we'll be heading into March, and the light levels will be back up to what they were in September. And they grew so well and so easily then, didn't they? In the autumn jump starter, you're going to have masses to do between now and when we start sowing again. We've got a new seed shop coming. We won't be sowing anything half hardy until it warms up. This is a cold greenhouse, so even in February that's going to be too chilly for some of the half hardies. We have decided to restock some of the items that we haven't sown yet, like the stocks, the melope and the scabious, because they are quite hardy. So if you've just found us, we're going to restock some of those items so that you can join in the spring grow along / the last of the autumn jump starter grow along. There's a new handbook coming as well. I will make sure I update it with the revised information, because agrostemma you can re-sow, but you're going to need different instructions, so I'm going to do that. So there's masses coming, loads of videos coming, and I'll also be running some videos on what kit that you're going to need going forward during the winter. So if you stuck for any Christmas ideas, ask for some Christmas money, and then if you don't need seeds, then you can certainly spend the money on kit.